Welcome to Next Level Podcast. Today, we're diving into one of mobile gaming's biggest battles, subscriptions and battle passes versus microtransactions. Which model drives better retention, stronger revenue, and long-term success? Let's explore the future of gaming monetization. Every developer in mobile gaming is fighting the exact same war. The survival of a studio over the next decade comes down to deciding how to monetize a multi-billion-dollar player base. Back around 2010, mobile games were treated like physical products. You paid a single upfront price, usually 99 cents, and owned the experience completely. But revenue had a hard ceiling under that model. Developers quickly realized that by removing the entry fee entirely, they could attract millions of users and shift their business toward monetizing an active, continuous player base. The immediate solution was the microtransaction. This model scaled titles like Clash of Clans to the top of the charts in over 140 countries, generating billions in revenue as the player base scaled. Today, that system is under severe threat. The cost to acquire a single new user has skyrocketed across the industry. Studios used to rely on a strategy where they could rapidly cycle through players, extracting a few dollars before the player moved on. High acquisition costs have completely destroyed the math on that approach. Spending heavy marketing dollars to acquire a player only to lose them a week later is financial suicide. Developers are no longer optimizing for a quick transaction on day one. They are designing architectures meant to keep a player fiercely loyal for multiple years. This leaves the industry fractured. Studios must decide whether to rely on the psychological friction of quick microtransactions or bet their entire business on the slow, retention-driven mechanics of long-term subscriptions. Behavioral economists point to a concept called present bias. The human brain naturally places a much higher value on rewards we can access right now compared to a payoff we have to wait for. Microtransactions weaponize present bias perfectly. The game creates an intentional roadblock or timer, building up frustration. Precisely when your patience runs thin, the interface offers an immediate, paid solution to relieve the friction. This psychological trigger is highly effective at generating massive, instantaneous revenue spikes, especially when paired with limited-time cosmetic drops or special events. Look at this distribution curve. The vast majority of total revenue is generated by a tiny demographic known as whales. That concentration creates an extreme operational danger. If those top spenders leave, the entire revenue stream collapses. The financial sector views this extreme volatility as a massive liability. Investors heavily discount the valuation of studios whose survival depends on unpredictable spending spikes. While catering to whales delivers unmatched short-term cash flow, the foundational instability of the model forces developers to seek alternative, predictable frameworks to ensure survival. Subscriptions approach the relationship with a completely different objective. The goal shifts from selling a discrete digital sword today to convincing the player to simply log in for another month. This graph compares the two models. By prioritizing retention, developers secure highly stable, predictable forecasting. It eliminates the spikes and crashes entirely, giving investors a smooth, compounding slope of recurring revenue. The trade-off for this stability is operational execution. Studios must maintain an unrelenting, high-quality content pipeline month after month to justify that recurring payment. This dual demand for retention and continuous progression led to the decade's most critical monetization innovation, the Battle Pass. The mechanic is brilliantly straightforward. Players make an upfront payment, but they must engage in continuous gameplay to gradually unlock the value of their purchase. This leverages the sunk cost effect. Because the player has already invested money, skipping game days or ignoring limited events feels financially costly. They play to protect their investment. For this to work, strict transparency is required. Unlike the opaque, manipulative mechanics of randomized loot boxes, Battle Pass players know exactly what actions yield exactly which rewards. By establishing trust and requiring playtime to unlock value, Battle Passes seamlessly turn daily player engagement into a compounding financial asset. We evaluate the true impact of these strategies through lifetime value. Imagine comparing a player who drops $100 on launch week and uninstalls against a player who subscribes for 3 years. Consider the numbers. That launch week player generates exactly $100, but a $10 a month subscriber who stays for 3 years generates $360. By focusing on longevity, the developer generates over 3 times the revenue from a single player while creating a much more predictable cash flow. Because this lifetime value is predictable, publishers heavily favor recurring revenue models when calculating corporate valuations. But the most successful games on the market do not choose between these models. They aggressively stack them. This architecture diagram maps out the hybrid ecosystem. The economy is built on a foundational layer of subscriptions for baseline stability. Above that, a middle pillar of battle passes drives daily retention. Finally, a flexible top layer of microtransactions captures immediate revenue spikes during events. By constructing a hybrid ecosystem, developers safely extract maximum lifetime value because they cater to every unique psychological motivation operating inside their player base. Player sentiment is shifting. As communities become more vocal about artificial frustration and hidden odds, developers are moving toward more transparent, trust-based value propositions to ensure long-term survival. To adapt, developers are turning to AI personalization to replace static, one-size-fits-all in-game storefronts. Look at this decision tree visualization. AI systems dynamically analyze behavioral data, sorting your profile into distinct storefronts based on what motivates you. 2 players on the same couch will be offered entirely different subscription benefits tailored to their playstyles. Running a dynamic, AI-driven hybrid economy carries a massive cost. Balancing thousands of personalized variations in real time requires a colossal team monitoring the player base. The future of mobile revenue is not about finding a single, perfect system. It is about using data to flawlessly match the right economic model to the exact player. Each of these models serves a specific function. While microtransactions provide immediate liquidity and subscriptions offer stability, the hybrid architecture is what allows a modern title to thrive for a decade or more. The most dominant studios of the next decade will construct balanced ecosystems that respect the player's time just as much as their wallet. Thanks for listening to Next Level Podcast. The future isn't subscriptions or microtransactions alone. It's finding the right balance between value, retention, and player choice. Until next time, keep learning, keep building, and keep leveling up.